Hello, I'm Ketty Duato, and today I will be presenting on the essential medicine diethylcarbamazine. Diethylcarbamazine is the drug's generic name, but there are a handful of brand names as well. To name a few, there are Hetrazan, Banacide, Trozan, Decet, Exazine, and DC, and there are also plenty more. Here is a model structure of diethylcarbamazine. The molecular formula of this drug is C10H21N3O. This model is made from fruit, with toothpicks being the bonds, and as you can see, most bonds are single, but there is one double bond between an oxygen and a carbon. The grapes represent carbon, the raisins represent hydrogen, the apricots are nitrogen, and the date is oxygen. This fruit model was very delicate and fragile, so the picture here is of a 2D example of the molecule, and in the following slide I will show the 3D model in two parts to avoid breaking the structure. Documenting the full 3D model was a little bit risky, so to avoid breaking the model, I took two separate photos of both sides. And as you can see, the carbon-oxygen double bond is in the center of both pictures. There aren't two, just one, but it shows the middle of both pictures. On the ringed side of the molecule, which is shown on the left, you can see that the structure is far from flat and has carbons and hydrogens bonded together in all directions, shooting out from the nitrogens. The same goes for the molecule's other side, where one half points towards the viewer and the other behind the nitrogen. Here is the skeletal line structure of diethylcarbamazine. The structure on the top is a traditional skeletal line structure. It shows two lone pair electrons on the oxygen and one lone pair electrons on each nitrogen. I drew the structure on the bottom for my own personal understanding and decided to add it to the presentation for any extra clarity needed, as it shows the hydrogen atoms as well as the carbon. It is important here to note that diethylcarbamazine does not have any chiral centers. Here are the functional groups of diethylcarbamazine. The first group that I'm familiar with is the amide, which is a double bonded oxygen carbon with a nitrogen attached and two R groups bonded to the nitrogen. The second group that I'm familiar with is a methyl, of which diethylcarbamazine only has one. It is circled in the upper right hand corner. A methyl group is CH3. The third group that I'm familiar with is the ethyl group, of which diethylcarbamazine has two. They are circled below the methyl picture. The ethyl group is CH2CH3. The functional group present that I'm less familiar with is a small alkaline known as piperazine. Piperazine is a six-membered ring with two nitrogens on opposite sides. Diethylcarbamazine is used to treat parasitic infections, specifically roundworms or nematodes. These specific parasites attack the lymph nodes and therefore the immune system as a whole. Side effects of diethylcarbamazine can include fever and/or gastrointestinal disturbances, and in very rare cases, brain disease can occur. It is taken orally, which means it is absorbed by the large intestine into the bloodstream. This drug senses the parasitic microfilaria and attacks through phagocytosis, which basically means the microscopic organism is absorbed by the drug particles. Specifically, this medicine interacts with the arachidonic acid metabolic pathway and the cyclooxygenase pathway. It also inhibits the enzyme arachidonate 5 lipoxygenase. Those pathways and enzymes are all directly involved in the body's inflammatory response. Here on the right side, you can see a picture of a molecule enzyme of lipoxygenase. Now let's talk about the prescription of diethylcarbamazine. The drug was discovered in 1947 and it is prescribed as an oral tablet or pill. This drug is a synthetic version of an organic molecule. It is a non-chiral molecule, so it's prescribed in a stereoisomer form, and it is a salt. Diethylcarbamazine is currently not FDA approved for commercial sales due to evidence of further infection. To prescribe, doctors must contact the CDC with positive lab results of parasitic infection in their patients. In summary, the parasitic infection attacks the lymph nodes and therefore increases the immune response, as well as inflammation. With the immune system in a heightened state, the body is more likely to contract other illnesses while fighting off the parasitic infection. Once diethylcarbamazine is absorbed into the bloodstream, the drug will begin fighting the infection through phagocytosis. It will also directly decrease inflammation via lipoxygenase inhibitors. This concludes my presentation. Thank you.